What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MontyVerse. Today we're going to be checking out the first official trailer for Blue Beetle. I'm so excited for this movie, and joining me, as always, is Nicki. Nicki, are you ready?
I'm ready for this.
All right, let's just jump right into it, guys. Starting the trailer right now.
Excuse me, Mr. Reyes? You finished scraping the gum off that lounger or what?
Yeah.
Everything right now feels so out of reach.
You always land on your feet, bro. You're Jaime.
Oh, Cord.
Oh, God. That would be very embarrassing.
Jenny?
God, that's my life.
Is he gonna hit the Luddy?
Open it. You went in to get us shops, and all you brought back was a hamburger?
Okay, I don't think it's a burger.
Hey, burgers are also great. I would take that as a gift.
What the hell is that?
How did you get it to do that?
I think he likes me.
Jaime.
Oh, God.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. What the?
That's like straight out of a horror movie.
Okay, it's gonna be okay.
Oh my God, that looks so good.
Oh, space.
Re-entry systems ready.
Wait, no.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want.
Oh, the wings.
I
just wanna rock.
It's called the Scarab. It's some kind of world-destroying weapon. It's designed to protect its host.
This ain't what you want.
Sometimes it does what you want, and sometimes it doesn't.
I think I cut a bus in half.
The Scarab chose you, but it belongs to me.
That low you feel for your family makes you weak.
I just wanna rock.
Yes! Oh! The bug
universe
ship!
sent you a gift, and you have to figure out what you're gonna do with it.
That's my heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Whatever you can imagine, I can create.
Wow!
Nice choice.
Let's go! That looks so good!
It's like Batman stuff.
Batman's
a fascist.
Whoa!
Wait, what are you seeing?
All right, look at these suits. Look at this lair they're in. This is Ted Kord's. The second Blue Beetle. That's his suit right there.
Okay,
oh my
it's
God.
the vintage costumes.
Oh my God, this is. Okay, so this movie. All right, guys. All right, we're going right into it. Breakdown right now. So this movie is going into the full legacy of the Blue Beetles. Every Blue Beetle. So you have the original Blue Beetles costume, Dan Garrett. He was the original Blue Beetle from before DC bought the Fawcett Comics. And then you have, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the comic company right now. I'm marking out too hard right now. It might not be Fawcett. Anyway, then you have Ted Kord's suit, who's the second Blue Beetle. And oh my gosh, we saw the bug ship early in the trailer, which is Ted Kord's, which he built. This is so cool right now. I didn't expect all of this to be in this trailer. Like, I didn't expect them to delve into the lineage and legacy of the Blue Beetle like they're doing in this trailer. Oh my gosh, okay.
You're very excited right now.
Because I think it's so cool. Because I remember reading Jaime's first appearance in Infinite Crisis #5, and I just thought what they did with him, jumping away from what they were doing with Ted Kord, another character that I really loved, I thought it was really cool, and I thought it was different, and I thought it was a great way to approach young readers, young comic readers, and introduce them to characters like Blue Beetle. So this is so cool that they're doing this. Like, as a comic book nerd, this is insane. This is blowing my mind right now that we are in Ted Kord's shop, and you hear Jaime even says it in the trailer, like, this is like Batman, because Ted Kord was the only Blue Beetle to not have powers. He essentially became a Batman-esque character to capitalize on the success of Batman comics. The original Blue Beetle, Dan Garrett, had some powers, but not to the extent that Jaime's Blue Beetle ends up having. This is so cool. Okay, I know. I'm gonna throw a lot at you right now because you are not a comic book nerd like I am.
I was gonna say we've already gotten a lot.
Okay, so we in the trailer. I first of all, I just want to go back to the ship. Oh my god, to see the bug ship in a freaking movie, man. I'm marking out so hard right now, guys. Oh, it's so cool. So cool. Okay. So, speaking of Ted Kord, the beginning of the trailer shows us that the Scarab comes from Kord Industries, which is the building that Jaime approaches in the beginning of the trailer right there. You see the Kord logo in the purple lettering. So that's really cool. We're going to be establishing the Kord family, and I think that Susan Sarandon is playing. I know she's playing a Kord. I don't know if I think it's Ted Kord's sister Victoria Kord, but I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure on her name. If you want to pull that up while I kind of do this right now.
Yeah, definitely.
So you have that, and then essentially we know that that's where the Scarab comes from. So in the comic books, the Scarab was first thought to be a mystical relic when Dan Garrett used it, but over the years it was retconned into being as the trailer puts it, a piece of alien technology that's designed to conquer worlds. Okay, I was right. Victoria Kord. Okay.
And is she in the comics?
No, this is a brand new character, but it's a great way to kind of bridge that gap without having Ted Kord be in this.
I was literally about to say, because I don't think I had seen anyone cast as him or Dan, so I was curious if you think they're going to play any kind of roles, or if it's more they're going to explore their legacy as Jaime takes on the mantle.
I think it's going to be more of a legacy exploration, which is kind of upsetting for me because I love the character of Ted Kord, and you have the Blue Beetle show, you have the Booster Gold show coming, and Blue and Gold is one of the best friendships in comics.
Well, I was going to say, now, based on what we know, are they saying he's dead, or could he potentially appear at some point in the new slate of DC properties?
That's what I'm worried about, because Ted Kord, to pass the mantle from Kord to Reyes, in the comics, Ted Kord was dead at the time. Ted Kord dies, because he was a student of when they rebooted Dan Garrett for the comics, he was an archaeologist, and Ted Kord was his student, and he tasked Ted Kord with protecting the Scarab after he died in battle.
Yeah.
But Ted Kord could never get the Scarab to work, which is why he became a Batman-like hero and relied on his intelligence to create all of these gadgets.
Right.
And then when he died, the Scarab found its way to Jaime Reyes.
Okay. Now, really quick, is that not to say that the Booster Gold series couldn't be a flashback?
Yeah, it could be a flashback. Booster Gold deals in time travel, and if who's to say he won't time travel to save his best friend?
Yeah.
Blue Beetle. So, is Ted Kord dead? Possibly, he could just be captured. It could be a little teaser for a future film where, because in the comics, because DC is constantly rebooting itself, there is a lot of Blue Beetle stories where Ted Kord mentors Jaime to be a better hero and helps him builds him gadgets and things like that. So we could even introduce that concept for later sequels.
Yeah.
But so it's I know why Ted Kord's not going to be in this movie, because it's very clear they want to focus on Jaime Reyes' origin story and his relationship with his family, which is a very important part of the character.
I was gonna say, so like, just real quick, because my experience with this character is strictly from Young Justice, and I really liked Jaime in that. Like, especially for that show has a massive cast, but I like the bits that did focus on him. But since he was working with the team, we didn't see all of his family working with them. So kind of seeing that really play through in this movie is really sweet and touching to see. And I mean, you have George Lopez. You know it's going to be fun.
George Lopez playing his uncle, Rudy. I'm really glad you brought that up, because for those of you not familiar with the character of Jaime Reyes, Young Justice did a really good job of teaching you the lore of the Scarab. And the Scarab actually has a name. And the name is Khaji Da. And it was originally thought to be an ancient Egyptian artifact, but we now know that it is actually an alien weapon created by, do you remember the name of the aliens? Okay, it's created by the Reach.
I was not remember that.
Whose sole purpose is to essentially conquer worlds and take them over. And they created the scarabs to be the perfect weapon, to bond to a human, well, not a human, to bond to any being and essentially take over their body, use their body as a vessel to conquer their own people.
So in a way, it's a little bit like the symbiote.
Yes and no, because the symbiotes kind of live on their own planet. They're not designed for like intergalactic conquest, whereas these scarabs are. They're designed, and it's a lot darker because what these scarabs do is let's put it. There's a lot to go into as to why Jamie's scarab works differently. Jaime's scarab works differently. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so excited right now. But basically, it would be like they send these scarabs out to take a native person of that planet, turn them into a weapon of mass destruction, have them conquer and destroy tons of that world. So essentially, they are taking one of your own and turning them into a weapon designed for your destruction. Right. And then they take those people when say they would pick, when Jaime was done, they would pick him up and be like, okay, now you're a part of our army.
Yeah. And that's what's so crazy to me is because, again, based on my experience with the character, like I knew about the scarab and kind of him having to deal with having that alter ego of sorts and how sinister they were even in the Young Justice series. Seeing this, it's like a borderline horror movie. It's like something straight out of Alien. But
what's really cool is I'm glad that you brought that up in the reaction too, because that's something that happens in the comics as well. The first many times that he transforms, it's actually painful.
Oh, yeah.
Because the scarab bonds itself to his spinal cord and his nervous system.
Yeah.
And so the suit coming out of him, like he's screaming in pain. So he eventually learns to control that a little bit better the more control he gains over the scarab. But we definitely see that in that first transformation. It's very brutal visually.
It is, but that's what I really like. Because I know a lot of us, because this is technically still a DCEU film, and I know we make a lot of jokes about how dark and gritty they are. But what's so cool about, at least from what I can convey in this trailer, is they aren't like pulling their punches. They're showing how horrible and painful it is as he experiences that initial transformation. Yet it still has a brightness to it. There's still some humor. So I like that mix of tones that they're working with.
Yeah, and it's so great. Oh man, it's just there's so many cool little Easter eggs in here. You have Jaime working at at the hotel with his sister, which is something that he does in the comics when he graduates from high school, which is a relatively new concept, I believe. That's in the newer Blue Beetle comics, where because he chooses not to go to college right away, his parents make him get a job at the hotel over the summer, and that looks to be what he's doing in the beginning of this.
Yeah.
But then he's going to Court Industries to look to get them a job. We have a reference to Big Billy Burger, which was a huge piece of connective tissue to the Arrowverse, but is also a burger chain in the DC Comics universe, and that's really fun. Man, this is so flippin' cool, guys. I'm just flipping through this trailer. The suit, I have to applaud the design of the suit and what they did with it, because it is gorgeous. It looks perfect. There's not a single thing I would change. Oh my gosh. Wow, just look, the wings are great. The classic Blue Beetle wings. I do like, here's one thing we could talk about that you could give me your input on. What did you think of the voice of Khaji Da?
That threw me for a loop, because I'm used to the Young Justice one, which is like a more menacing male sounding voice. And this one, it almost gives me like Karen, not stereotype Karen, but like Karen from Far From Home vibes a little bit.
Yeah, we're more used to that aggressive scarab vibe from Young Justice, and I think I'm wondering if they're doing that to kind of lull people into a false sense of security, like, oh, this is like Iron Man, right? But then at some point in the movie, when Khaji Da kind of remembers its original programming, it kind of becomes more aggressive.
Well, I mean, just based on the transformation, you already know that there's like something shady going on. It's not all rainbows and roses. Like, okay, here's some powers, have fun. No, it seems a lot more brutal than that and nefarious, but I think, again, they're trying to play with tone a little bit, because I appreciate that they're taking something a little bit darker and horrifying. At the same time, they're still playing with it a little bit lightly and injecting some humor into it at the same time.
Absolutely. We have our first look at the secondary villain, because I'm sure Victoria Cord is going to be the mastermind villain.
Yeah.
And then we have the secondary villain, who apparently is going to be Carapax the Indestructible Man, which is a throwback villain to the Dan Garrett Blue Beetle. So that's really, really interesting, and I'm really excited to see what they do, how they modernize that, and what his maybe he's going to be the connective tissue between the other two Blue Beetles.
Right.
Man, I can't believe we're getting Dan Garrett in here. Like, I expected some nods to Ted Kord. I didn't expect to see a perfect recreation of Ted Kord's suit in this freaking trailer, guys. Like, holy crap. Like, this is blowing my mind right now. You got Dan Garrett's silly looking costume there. Crazy. But yeah, this is cool. I love the use of color in this. I think it's so very easy to do blue and black, but I think introducing that pink gives it such a unique visual identity.
Yeah.
And I really like that as well.
And it just makes everything pop a little bit more to where it's not like psychedelic, like Wonder Woman 84 in your face kind of colors, but it's enough to, it's distinctive, but it's not monotonous.
Yes. But I'm probably gonna have to do a breakdown video after this. There's too much to talk about. We're already 16 minutes in, and I could go on for more hours, like, talking about this trailer. I'm so excited.
So it's suffice to say, this exceeded your expectations.
Super exceeded my expectations. My most anticipated movie, I think, so far. All DC movies should feel like this. This was great. Xolo Maridueña looks awesome as Jaime. I think he nails the awkwardness of the character.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, because you watch Cobra Kai, so you have more experience.
Oh, he's great in Cobra Kai. I think he's a phenomenal talent, and I'm so excited to see him in this. But if you like the video, give it a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all of our latest content, because you know I'm gonna be talking about this more. This is insane. And until next time, guys, stay versed.